Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. If this is your first time here, I am Hana, evolutionary astrologer, and let's talk about the asteroid Hygeia entering the sign of Cancer. So this is going to happen on April 6th and it will last until July 13th. So think about the great majority of the month of April, May, June until mid-July. Hygeia, which is all about health, I'm going to tell you all about her, will be transiting the sign of Cancer, which means that all the Cancer themes and organs and parts of our bodies are more at risk and also more, let's just say a little bit more vulnerable. So how do we take care of, like, what is the preventive care here? Because Hygeia really teaches us that health is not just about something that we fix when there's a problem, but it's truly something we tend to every day, one step at a time. So, first of all, let's start with the most important thing. Who is Hygeia? What is she about? If you've never heard of her, she's very, very famous in the medical astrology world. A very important, significant asteroid to pay attention to when it comes to our health and healing and medicine. But in the myth, in the mythology, in the Greek mythology, Hygeia is the goddess of health. She's the goddess of hygiene. Pay attention to her name, Hygeia, hygiene, and also the goddess of prevention. She is the daughter of Asclepius, and Asclepius is the god of medicine. So he is more connected to the treatment, whereas Hygeia is very much about what we do before something happens, before some sort of a health situation. So she's all about the daily rituals and all the small choices that we make every day and that consistent care and that maintenance work, that quiet maintenance work that is related to our well-being and good health. So she's really teaching us that true healing is preventative. Now, when Hygeia enters the sign of Cancer, something very important happens here because for Cancer, for this placement, health has everything to do with our emotional world. So Hygeia in Cancer speaks about how we all need emotional safety and belonging and nurturance, feeling nourished, feeling nurtured. So, in order for the body to feel well, in order for our health to be radiant, the emotions here are very important, our emotional health. So, for Cancer, emotions are not separate from health. They actually are health and what keeps us healthy. So, pay attention to your body during these times because the body can become even more responsive to your environment, to the emotional environment that you're in. And a lot of times it's very subtle. It's when you feel like, for example, someone comes into the room and is very angry or very frustrated, and you can feel that. So the emotional environment is very, very important here, including yours. And that's your responsibility. So how are you taking care of yourself emotionally? Also, your relationships, every single relationship in your life, and that feeling of being held physically, emotionally, and also energetically. So Cancer has a very sensitive nervous system, especially if you have planets in Cancer. This Hygeia will meet those planets in Cancer. If you have planets in Capricorn, this Hygeia will oppose those planets in Capricorn. So for you, that's even more important. Same if you have planets in Aries and planets in Libra, because this transiting Hygeia will square those planets. So your body can become even more responsive to inflammation, all sorts of digestive issues, fatigue, And you can feel that general sense of heaviness in the body because Cancer has a very sensitive nervous system. So we're more at the effect at stress or overwhelmed or when things are unstable. This is not a placement that speaks about things staying in the mind, but how it moves into the body. And whatever is not processed, whatever is not expressed emotionally, whatever is not felt, gets stored in the body that could lead to, as I just mentioned, inflammation, uh, not able to digest food well, and feeling just tired, fatigue. So the weak points, what we want to do with this transiting Hygeia is to think about what are the weak points here? What are the vulnerabilities? So we can take really special care, be specially mindful of those areas in the body. So Hygeia Cancer is all about the stomach and digestion. It's all about breast and the chest area. And especially if you are a woman, this is specifically more significant for you because Cancer has to do with all the female organs. So the womb, the ovaries, the uterus, the reproductive system, and also hormonal fluctuations in the hormonal cycle. So that's really, really at play here, really important. So you may notice, for example, when you're feeling stressed and overwhelmed, and there's a lot of emotions, or you're not properly digesting your emotions, it could lead to things like emotional eating, or your appetite can change because of the stress, and your body reacting quicker, faster to the emotional triggers because Cancer is highly reactive to stress, to emotional stress, to pressure, and also family dynamics as well. So, stress in the family, stress in the home can be extra, it can hurt extra during these times and actually affect your health and well-being. This is also grief and sadness and worry, all the feelings that can be, a little difficult. But, that's what's so important for us to understand during those times that Cancer is really teaching us that our body is more than just digesting the food that we're eating. It's digesting life itself, everything we go through during the day. So if you're going through something that's maybe hard to process emotionally, or maybe you're just having a bad day, the body is working double or triple here because it's trying to process things physically and emotionally as well. So this transit, it's a little less about fixing symptoms, but more about listening to what your body is trying to say to you. So, how do we support ourselves during this time, especially if you have placements in Cancer, Aries, Libra, and Capricorn? This is especially significant for you, but this is significant for all of us because we're all going to be experiencing Hygeia in Cancer until the mid-July. So how do we support ourselves during this time? Hygeia in Cancer responds well to gentleness, nurturing, and consistent care. So some ways, very simple, but that could be really helpful during these times is gentle abdominal massage or womb care practices, warm compresses or heating pads on the belly or lower back, especially if you're going through your cycle. Warm here is also very healing. So any activity that brings some sort of emotional expression. So this could be journaling, this could be therapy. Therapy is wonderful here, or having, you know, quality time with your loved ones where you can have that safe, nurturing space and conversations where you can unpack your emotions and your day and what's going on and how you're feeling. This is why therapy is so amazing. And also loved ones as well, or, holding your pet or your child. It's very much about that sensation of safety in the physical body and that you have some sort of relief for what's going on inside. So, any practice that can create a sense of containment, hugs, blankets, holding your favorite pillow or your favorite stuffed animal, anything that brings safety and coziness and that cocooning type of experience. Another thing is water. Water, Cancer is a water sign. So water-based healing rituals like bath, spending a little bit of time in the bath with the warm water and the oils and the smells and swimming as well is great, or any sort of practice, being in the pool, being in the ocean, if it's not too cold where you are, being in the bath, being in the river, or connecting with water. Water is highly absorbing. It absorbs, I mean, our bodies are more than 70% made of water. So think about that, how water helps move what is stuck. So any sort of water practice here, and drinking more water as well is really great, especially in April. Our sky is full of Aries. Aries is a water sign, so hydrate. But even throughout the year, the majority of the planets, the outer planets, are going to be in the signs of, I'm sorry, in the elements of fire and air, which means that we have very little water in the sky and earth. So grounding practices and water practices, like something so simple as make sure you're drinking enough water, can be so helpful and so supportive here. And as I've already mentioned, also creating a nourishing and nurturing home environment. Home where you live, how things are at home is extra, extra important during these times. This is not just a priority, this is the medicine itself. When you feel like you can come home to a place where you feel safe and protected and cozy and good. So, prevention. When we speak about Hygeia being very much about the prevention, the daily practices, the daily rituals, what can we do on our during our days to support this? Number one, eat warm, nourishing, home cooked meals. Something that's cold, something that's rushed, something that's chaotic, eating between, very quickly, not chewing your food properly. This can really disrupt digestion right now. So take extra attention and care in terms of how you're eating, what you're eating. Chewing your food properly can make all the difference. And also try to maintain regular meal times to support that connection between the gut and the brain connection, and also the stability. And take time, eat your food, enjoy your food, rest the body. Try not to eat as you're still working or even watching a movie. Try to take the time to properly eat, chew, and then digest. As I mentioned before, be extra mindful of emotional eating. If you're craving more, foods and carbs and sugars, something that brings a sense of pleasure, and I need that to feel good because I had a really stressful day, and then you can eat a whole pint of ice cream. This means pay extra attention to this because this means that your body is not processing something or needs more time, needs more rest to process something, and then you're using food as some sort of a coping mechanism, which is not bringing any solutions or fixing the real issue here, what's going on. It's just giving you this kind of um, a buffer, so to speak. It's not really taking you to where you need to go. The other thing is prioritize sleep and rest. This is really, really important because cancer depletes quickly with exhaustion. So Hygeia Cancer says if you're not getting the proper rest you need, you're more at risk of some sort of a reaction, some sort of a body reaction to this. Also, as I mentioned, if you are a woman, honor your cycles, take time to rest, to connect with your body, to connect with the moon. Tracking the moon can be very, very supportive here. And regardless, try to create some sort of daily rituals that bring comfort, that brings predictability, because that really helps to regulate the nervous system. If it's your meditation practice, if it's your warm bath, if it's the time where you have that family meal, something that brings a sense of predictability, comfort, and coziness, and you feel good and you don't have to rush. And also keep your home safe, clean, and cozy, whatever that means for you. And also create these emotional processing rituals, as I mentioned. Maybe it's going to the therapist, maybe it's hanging out with your best friend and being able to just unpack things together, but something that brings a contained, safe, comfortable place and space where emotions can move instead of getting stuck. And as I've already mentioned, but this is so important, be intentional in how you eat your food. Go away from the screens or conflict. Be in a peaceful environment where you can really be present. And remember, this is something that I found out not so long ago, that digestion actually begins before the food enters the body. The moment where you're looking at your food or preparing your food or smelling your food or even gathering the ingredients, your digestion starts there. It's so fascinating. And just one more layer to this on an even deeper level, this transit may bring themes around mothering, care, your emotional needs, others' emotional needs, and family dynamics as well. So, some questions to ponder here, some food for thought can be: how was I cared for? How am I taking care of myself now? What does feeling safe mean for me? What are my emotional needs? What do I need in order to feel good, to feel safe, to properly feel and digest and integrate my emotions, my feelings? And if I am not having this, what am I going to do about it? Do I need to go to the therapist, for example? What practices, what do I need to bring that better care into my life? Maybe you need more time to rest. Maybe you need better sleep. Um, and so think about this transit as an invitation to become our own source of nourishing safety, emotional healing. And if that's not enough, how can I find practices or help elsewhere, something that's going to help me find, this sense of safety and an emotional digestion and processing. So, from April 6th until July 13th, the medicine here is gentleness, is to take good care of yourself, good care of your body, to listen to your body, to bring coziness, to take really good care of your nervous system. And thank you so much for being here. If this resonates with you, please share with others. This information can be very helpful, and sending you lots of love and care and nourishment. And I will hopefully see you next time in the next video.